Part 11. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 101. Chapter 066 Kushida takes fingerprints. Oreki, you don't know, clothes can't retain fingerprints. Kushida acted differently from before. That is. She took Oreki's left hand and seemed to press it under her belt. And judging from the way she held his hand, she seemed to want him to press on her heart. Wrong. Already wanted, but already pressed on it. Hello. Are you okay? Oreki-san seemed shocked. Of course. Because I haven't had much contact with girls since I was a child. My sister doesn't count. During the lunch break, Sakayanagi-san was still talking about what happened between him and Horikita Suzune. At that time, Oreki-san felt that neither he nor Horikita or even Kushida were interested in love. There is no possibility of a relationship between a boy and a girl. So even if you throw the three of them together, there won't be any chemistry. And is he close to Horikita-san? This is not as much as the contact with Kushida-san. Result. I really got in touch with Kushida. Oreki seemed confused by Kushida's actions. But Kushida-san finally explained himself. She held Oreki-san's right hand with both hands and pressed it on her heart, as if making a mark. This is the only way I can think of right now, Kushida said. Oreki-kun, I can't trust you, so I'm going to leave your fingerprints. And doing this dash. She held Oreki's left wrist. But his cheeks seemed to be rosy. But she continued speaking coldly. This way your fingerprints will be printed clearly. Then, as long as I report it to the school, it will prove that you were too rough on me, and even though you have a lot of points, you can even be exempted from expulsion. But considering the issues of character and crime, you will definitely be expelled, Kushida said. And if you don't want me to do this, then promise me not to tell anyone what you saw. Profound. It is indeed a very straightforward solution. Then Kushida let go of his hand. Only give you time to think and think about how to deal with it so that he can keep your secret. Result. Is this what you were thinking of? This made Oreki-san feel a little complicated. But Oreki-san also has some questions that he wants to ask her. If she was in the state of a little angel, then she would definitely not answer. So maybe you can get the answer at this time. I'm a little curious, Oreki-san said. Kushida-san is so good at using beauty, is it possible that he has been using beauty to treat others? Kushida-san immediately denied, nothing. By the way, it's not that you're too troublesome. Can't handle it? Profound. He, who has always believed in energy conservation, was actually regarded as trouble by a troublesome person like Kushida. A little down. But since she said that, there is no need to be gentle to her. Then you hate me, Oreki asked. When I went to find Horikita-san, I heard you taking out the trash on her. Then Oreki-san paused, one-sidedly judged me as a lustful boy. You heard that? It's disgusting. People who eavesdrop on people are disgusting, Kushida said directly without any hesitation. In other words, he looks like a little angel, but turns out he hates him so much. So in the forum, 99% of the people who use a small account to send him junk pictures are also Kushida-san. Okay. Oreki-san decided to mark Kushida-san first. Then let's get back to the topic. I promise not to tell anyone that I saw you kicking the railing and scolding Horikita, Oreki said. Yakuro Kushida seemed to have calmed down a bit at this time. In fact, she felt ashamed of what she had just done. I just never thought that this side of myself would be exposed, so I reacted subconsciously. When looking at Oreki Houtarou, the first thing that comes to mind is his weakness, he is not good at interacting with girls. So it can be regarded as the right medicine. On the one hand, he can leave fingerprints, but on the other hand, he is not good at contacting girls, so if she suffers a little loss, he will not pursue it. That's what Kushida-san is thinking. But I can write it to others, Oreki said. My hard pen calligraphy is pretty good. Kushida. Kushida immediately glared at Oreki-san angrily. You're kidding, Oreki-san said. Actually, I want to say that even if you tell others that you are like this, no one will believe it. I'm only active in Class A, but your friends are all over other classes, and then there are the senior sisters. Everyone thinks you are an approachable, angel-like person. So probably no one will believe that you are the type who kicks the railing while scolding Horikita, Oreki said. Kushida. This is true. Not to mention kicking the railing and cursing at the same time, this behavior looks abnormal and makes people feel that it is not something a normal person would do. And Kushida suddenly reacted. Yes. Even if Oreki talks nonsense, others won't believe it. And this is why she has been working so hard. Horikita Suzun came from the same junior high school as her, and may have heard of her deeds, but Akyosei High School was a new place and a new beginning for her. She didn't want to go back. That's why I tried my best to build a good relationship with Horikita Suzun, but Horikita Suzun was very annoying and ignored her at all. But I also wanted to seal Horikita's mouth. So I had to keep licking her. As long as the relationship is good, then she may not tell others about her affairs. And if the relationship is good, Horikita's nonsense can be seen as a quarrel between friends. But now, everyone regards her as a cute little angel. So who would believe it? Then is it necessary for her to lick Horikita and seal Oreki's mouth at such a sacrifice? It seemed like he did something stupid in the heat of the moment. Then she heard Oreki-san's voice. So it's a pity that there was no video just now, Oreki said. Although if I tell others, no one may believe it, but if it is recorded, everyone who sees it will be heartbroken. Kushida. Hee. Kushida seemed to smile. It's just a taunt. In fact, I feel pretty lucky. According to her understanding of Oreki Houtarou, this guy thinks a lot and has strong insights. And I've seen her take out the trash to Horikita Suzun, but he didn't react at all. In other words, he may have already realized that what she showed was not her true face. And I just noticed her kicking the railing and swearing, I just thought she was a little more intense. But this kind of behavior seems to be within the acceptable range in the other party's heart. In other words, in Oreki-san's mind, was she actually a black person from the beginning? Kushida's mood was a little complicated. Because is this the only time where someone didn't blow himself up and then someone saw his true face? But Oreki Houtarou was very perceptive, so she was not videotaped by him. She was indeed very lucky today. Otherwise, if there was a video, she wouldn't know what to do with it. Anyway. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 102. Because he was facing Oreki Houtarou, who had no trouble with girls. Kushida turned around and intertwined the fingers of his hands, but when he turned around, the brightness on his face returned. Short blonde hair, delicate facial features, and a cute smile. In this way, we have a common secret, Oreki-kun. Kushida faded away and revealed his usual little angel side. It was completely impossible to tell that she was such a careless person just now. If this is acting or face changing, then Kushida Kikyo is really strong. Only Oreki-san also has principled requirements. Then you are not allowed to kick on the railing and scold me, Oreki said. It doesn't matter if you kick the railing and scold Horikita, but you can't scold me. Hee. This made Kushida-san's cute little angel almost lose his temper. However, she also discovered that Oreki Houtarou seemed not as close to Horikita Suzun as she thought. I hate it. How could someone do such a rough thing, Kushida said while maintaining the attitude of a little angel. At the same time, she decided not to kick on the railing. I thought this was a place to vent my emotions, so I deliberately found a place where no one would come and where there would be no cameras. Result: he was discovered as soon as he started kicking. And then I was so ashamed. Let's go back and write a diary or something. But I have to buy a small lockable cabinet to store my diary. Then I'll go back first, Kushida-san said. Then he turned around and left as if he had no nostalgia. A refreshing sea breeze blew in my face. And watch Black Kushida transform into ordinary Kushida, and then leave cutely. Oreki-san took out his cell phone. The time display is 19:29. 14 minutes have passed since I saw Kushida kicking the railing. In other words, if this transfer information had not come through, then he chose not to interfere, so after venting, Kushida-san himself would have left. So, 1 million points have been credited to your account, and the transfer party is unknown. Note: monthly maintenance. The sponsor transfer information came at the perfect time. If the sponsor senior sister really wanted to raise him, she just committed suicide on her own. This is really sad. After all, if it hadn't been for this message from her, then he wouldn't have been discovered by Kushida. Then I won't come into contact with a girl's heart for the first time. Then let him understand that the girls in Class D are as destructive as imagined. But it's a pity. It can be known from the precognitive dream that he will date Kurosawa-san in the future. So, although the financial sponsor, the senior sister, supported him unilaterally, but he, Oreki Houtarou, was not the kind of person who wanted to sell his body. So, if you find an opportunity, it's better to make some money. And he thought that Horikita-san got a class evaluation score of 20 points in the class this time. This point is a highlight. For example, Class D is regarded as a garbage dump. But that doesn't mean it can't be used at all. There is a class competition now. Oreki is in Class A. There is no need for other classes to climb up. But Class D may be different. In fact, it can be seen from the obsessive fierceness of Chibashira-sensei. Class D she led was promoted to Class B, only one step away from Class A, but ultimately failed. And does this failure refer to her own mistakes, the drag of the class, or because the school does not allow it? A question mark is needed. Every year, the school transfers graduates outside Class A of the 3rd grade to other schools and graduates under the names of other schools. But Class A of the 3rd grade is its signature and launched for the society. Therefore, if the quality of the 3rd grade Class A is too low, it will lose face. In other words, Class D may have been a class that was regarded as outcasts from the very beginning. Putting in a bunch of junk and problem kids is really just to add variety to the competition. That's why Chibashira is so obsessed. From this perspective, it is actually very safe to let Class D gain some points. Moreover, the current students in Class D have already begun to distribute their class evaluation scores. Then just adjust it a little more. However, Horikita-san clearly did something worth 50 class evaluation points, but in the end she only got 20 class evaluation points. In other words, her deterrence is not enough. I can't hold Class D. You need to find someone to help. And in Class D, apart from Kushida-san just now, the only ones he knew were Sakura-san and Kurosawa-san. Therefore, it is better to continue to support Horikita-san as a tool, or to support a new member to come to power. As for the kind of students who can't react at all and only object, they can just find an opportunity to expel those who object. Oreki-san was thinking hard about business. But quickly. This was probably the first time I had such contact with a girl. Oreki Houtarou looked down at the palm of his left hand. Kushida had already left, but the feeling seemed to still remain on his hand at that time. It felt like my fingers were stuck in it. And this feeling, he actually found, not annoying. So, Maybe Kushida-san is not mistaken, he is really a lustful boy. Oreki-san felt a little desperate for a moment. Fortunately, he also had a real archangel to heal him. At about 1936, Itchy Nose arrived at this toxic meeting place. The sea breeze blows over, giving people a cool feeling. A girl with long pink hair arrived at the scene. Itchy Nose trotted over, seemingly out of strength, and was out of breath when he arrived. "Sorry, it's a little late," Itchy Nose said. "Have you been waiting for a long time, Oreki-san?" Itchy Nose put his hands on his knees. This action can bring her relief quickly. "I just arrived," Oreki-san said. The railings are now quiet. There was no trace of Kushida-san left. But let's protect Kushida a little bit. So pretend you just got here. That's right. The Archangel from Class B nodded slightly. Actually, well, is there something wrong with me? Itchy Nose quickly noticed that Oreki-san seemed to be looking at her. Does it mean that my hair is messed up? No. Because you are out of breath, there is a little bit of sweat on your white neck. It makes people feel a little bit erotic. However, Oreki-san has just experienced a little angel, so Oreki-san is very resistant to angels. So, you came here specifically to find me today, and then you are in this kind of place. Could it be that? Oreki paused. Yeah, Itchy Nose Hanamai nodded. It's Kinksun's business. I thought it would be troublesome to be friends again. But the result turned out to be surprisingly smooth. I sent her the book downloaded from the shopping street. Let her see what the couple wants to do. Then she felt that she didn't have that kind of thought towards me, Itchy Nose said. In other words, Itchy Nose also thought about it. After being confessed by a friend, it is difficult to become friends again. So, Itchy Nose-san also reacted. I went to find some study materials and asked Chihiro-san to study. It seemed like she wanted to see if the other person was craving for the kind of couple she was. It turned out not to be. As long as they are a couple and have true love, then they treasure the time they spend with each other. At the same time, they will naturally want to have physical contact and skin-to-skin contact. And without this feeling, then it is not true love. So Chihiro-san is probably just a misunderstanding of emotions. Both parties can let go of their psychological burden and become friends again naturally. So this is indeed a very good solution. If the other party does not have a clear understanding of his feelings and causes trouble, then by confirming the initial feelings clearly, there will be no subsequent troubles. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 103. Only. Going to the shopping mall to download a notebook, it seems like it's not something you can tell him directly. Oh no. This may be her highlight. He probably saw Kushida-san's true face, so when he saw another archangel, Oreki-san was a little curious. So what is Itchy Nose's true face? Only. While thinking this, I felt that I had come into contact with her true appearance. In other words, what Itchy Nose is showing now is his true appearance. Will run for friends things, care for friends things, and then work hard to maintain the relationship. I don't want the friendship to deteriorate. This is what an archangel looks like. And Itchy Nose wanted to share this when she asked him out. In other words, treat him as a reliable friend. So as a friend, should he ask her for help? Itchy Nose, you have a lot of friends, so how do you feel about spreading gossip about others? Oreki said. Huh, Itchy Nose blinked lightly. Are Oreki-san concerned about the rumors that you are being supported by a senior student with 1 million points a month? Indeed, this rumor has been widely circulated recently. And many people think it's expensive to support Oreki-san. Many of my friends think Oreki-san is a pretty good person. As for getting close to Oreki-san, I might have to face off against the $1 million sponsor, which I find hard to resist. However, if Oreki-san hates this matter, then I will tell my friends not to discuss this matter again. Then wait for a while, then the rumors will disappear, Ichino said enthusiastically. Okay. It turns out he is so high profile. In other words, the news is actually spreading that he is being kept by a senior classmate? 1 million a month. Is he a gold-eating beast? This made Houtarou Oreki feel complicated. But these words of Ichino's also conveyed a meaning. She asked her friends not to discuss the matter and then the rumors would quiet down. And this school is completely closed. General rumors are spread among students. So if you control the students and prevent them from talking, then no one will talk about it, and the rumors will naturally die down. That is to say, Ichino-san, your social skills are a bit too strong. This almost directly means that most of the students have become friends with you. This kind of communication ability is beyond the reach of Kushida. Oreki suddenly discovered that Ichino's Hanamai would be an obstacle to Sake Inagi-san's desire to become the student council president. Because she has many friends, most people will probably vote for her for free during the student council president election. Is it so difficult to do? No. Because here in Class B, Ichino's has already begun to collect the points of the 15 classmates who participated in Oreki's store opening scam and transferred them to Oreki-san. This shows that Ichino's will probably lose in vs Ryuan. And Ryuan has confirmed that he wants to climb up, so before attacking Class A, he will attack Class B fiercely. Yes. It is conceivable that when President Horikita resigns, Class B will probably be miserable. So at that time, all you need to do is give some money and buy it with money. You can ask Ichino-san to help canvass votes. For the sake of the classmates in Class B, she would be willing. Well. Hanamai Ichino seemed to take a step and a half back. I always feel that Oreki-san's eyes today seem to be full of aggression, Ichino said straightforwardly. So the aggressive Oreki-san returned to his home. Entered Dreamland. But apparently he met another archangel after Kushida. But after he was cured by Ichino-san, I found that I dreamed about many angels. The girls he dreamed about were like little angels, and they kept asking him to press his fingerprints repeatedly. And here, there is also a Kushida Platycodon. In the dream, Kushida held his hand. But unlike reality, she was not wearing a school uniform. To be more precise, she wasn't wearing any. Press, don't you press your fingerprints. Press dash. Handprints. After all, Oreki-san is a lustful boy, isn't he? So is he really this kind of person? However, at this age, it is normal to be interested in the opposite sex. The next day. The third day, the fourth day. On the fifth day. June 5th. I always feel that Oreki-san looks very sleepy. Arriving at class as usual, sitting in his seat, Oreki-san took out the textbook for the next class. However, the silver white-haired girl next to her spoke as usual. But did she observe his state? 3 days have passed since she kicked the railing at the Kushida artificial lake and cursed Horikita Suzune. During the past 3 days, Kushida-san acted like nothing was wrong and asked him out again during lunch break. Then he also asked him to make an appointment with Horikita Suzune. It seems to be no different than usual. But the only thing that has changed is that Horikita Suzune's popularity in Class D seems to have increased. Not only did she show her excellence and save a classmate, but she also added class evaluation points to the class. Then there were more people who wanted to get close to her. There are boys and girls. But Horikita-san is still the same. Can you please not disturb me while I'm reading? I have to read textbooks 11 hours a day. I don't want to waste my time studying by chatting. That's what she said. At the same time, The books she is reading have also begun to diversify. She has borrowed all the XX version 4, XX version 5, and XX version 6 textbooks from the library for nearly 10 years. Then I started reading hard. And the reason why it turned out like this was because Oreki-san told her about the last written exam. Yes. Although the class got the test paper, I didn't read it. That is to say, Oreki-san obviously doesn't study at all, but he managed to get absolutely high scores easily. Although Horikita Suzun herself was controlled by Oreki-san, her scores were controlled to an absolutely safe 51 points in all subjects. But she had read the paper herself, and if she had just asked her to do the questions on her own, she would have probably only gotten a score of 70 or so. After all, so many editions have passed, the teaching materials have changed, and the key points have also changed. So it makes sense that she could only score over 70 points. After all, some content has not been taught. However, under such circumstances, Oreki-san was still able to get full marks. Then, Horikita Suzun initially chose to read all the previous teaching materials. Then the time for studying increased. From this perspective, Horikita-san, who is stubborn in studying, is a bit cute. Although I have been studying and studying, everyone in Class D still thinks that Horikita-san is very good. If there is another exam, I am already considering whether to ask her for advice first. In response, Kushida-san just smiled. Then Oreki also noticed that Kushida seemed to be looking at his uniform 2 or 3 times. And Oreki had already recognized that Kushida-san's uniform was not the one from that night. In other words, she had actually been wearing the same uniform recently. Probably, I wear it during the day and then wear private clothes when I get back. At the same time, I wash and dry the uniform and wear it the next day. That is to say, she actually kept the hand-printed fingerprinted uniform. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 104. She was actually really worried that he would tell others about her carelessly. This is really a small tripe, Kushida-san. Although Kushida-san was rewarded with points for participating in his plan, she was quite frugal. On the one hand, she carefully deleted the transfer he made to her, and at the same time, she scanned the extra points from her student ID card into her points card. But this also shows that she is not smart enough. Mostly she lent her points to her classmates, and if she was found to still have money to buy uniforms, it meant that she still had money, or there were other ways to get money. It seems that Kushida-san is also having a hard time. Oreki looked at Sakayanagi-san next door. Probably because of the change in weather, Sakayanagi-san's image changed slightly when he came to school. To be precise, a beret was added. Her silver hair is very beautiful, similar to that of Horikita-san, and she has made her own small, delicate braids. Make her look even cuter. And now wearing a hat. Unexpectedly, I found that her cuteness increased. The attack power of Class A is truly amazing. As for Oreki-san, he was used to being unable to withstand attacks. He always felt that Sakayanagi Yuzu seemed to pay more attention to grooming after becoming his neighbor. And she is very good at showing her cute side. Sleepy. Indeed, Oreki-san nodded. I get sleepy easily. Are you sleepy? I understand this too. It's like sleepiness in spring, sleepiness in summer, sleepiness in autumn, and hibernation. The 4 seasons are like dreams. Hashimoto-san, who was 2 seats in front of Yuzu Sakayanagi, turned his head. But before he spoke, he found Princess Sakayanagi looking at him. Forward. So he turned back consciously. Generally speaking, I probably didn't sleep well at night, Oreki-san said. I will dream about something that wakes me up. Does that mean it's a nightmare? Yuzu Sakayanagi asked. When I was reading a book, it said that lavender and sandalwood can soothe the mind. The softness of the quilt and the comfort of the pillow are also important. Sakayanagi-san gave advice. Then you can try it, Oreki said. But I may know the cause of the insomnia. Speaking of dash plus. What do you think of fingerprints? Oreki asked the person with the highest IQ in Class A. Do you think fingerprints can be left on clothes? Clothes? Sakayanagi-yuzu said. When reading some mystery novels, there will be descriptions and evidence of relevant fingerprints. But staying on clothes, it's hard. Fingerprints are only left on smooth floors or smooth contact surfaces. Clothes, such as our school uniforms, do not have this foundation, Sakayanagi-arisu said. Right. Then the idea of fingerprints being retained on clothes is useless, Kushida-san. So, I still have to settle things with Kushida-san. Lest she finally discover this herself and come back to haunt him. He didn't want to be treated like Susan Horikita, who had a super cute girl waiting at the door at 6 o'clock every morning. And it's not a good thing to be waited for by a girl like this. Maybe she deliberately puts you in a bad mood every day. So it has to be dealt with. Oreki-san thought to himself. I have been dreaming about Kushida-san for 4 consecutive nights, and I have subconsciously fantasized about her human nature. This is really annoying. Seriously affects sleep efficiency. So, sure enough, it needs to be dealt with. The unnecessary is good, and the necessary must be simple. Since it is caused by adolescence and the teenage mue, let's deal with it during this period of adolescence. So, after thinking about it, Oreki-san decided to aggrieve Kushida-san. After all, he had no memory of knowing Kuruzawa. But judging from the other party's behavior of transferring money and then being obedient, it seems that this is a good girl. And in my occasional dreams, I always dream of marrying Horikita-san, who grows up to be a lawyer. Therefore, he had no shame in approaching Kuruzawa-san in such a state, and then asked her to do such a thing. So, after thinking about it, as expected, let's solve the source of the problem. Kushida-san always regarded him as a lustful boy, and regarded his inability to interact with girls as a breakthrough. Then deal with this weakness. So, after school, he went to the library, planning to get books related to fingerprints, and then invite Kushida-san out for a showdown. Telling her about fingerprints on clothes is completely unreliable. Library. Beep. Student card. After swiping his student ID card, Oreki passed through the passage easily. But when he wanted to go to the free computer to search the catalog of books, he found a person staring at him. It was a beautiful girl with straight silver hair, her facial features were very soft, and her silver hair was like a waterfall. She was wearing the usual girl's uniform in school. Incredibly, it was paired with gray stockings. Oreki-san can often see Horikita-san wearing black stockings, and he can also see Sakayanagi-san sitting next to him wearing white stockings. As a result, this was the first time I saw a girl manage gray silk stockings quite beautifully. By the way, are there any such beautiful girls in this school? However, I always felt that it was impolite to look at people like this, so Oreki-san just glanced at the other person and then looked away. But he also found that the other party seemed to be looking directly at him. Do you know me? Oreki asked. I don't know him, the other party said. I just think you're pretty, with beautiful dark green eyes. Oh. Looks good. By the way, can these words be said directly? Oreki discovered that he was indeed not good at interacting with girls. But this girl is very polite. If you want to search the books, then please. I just want to see some literature in the school, the girl with long silver hair said. You can continue later. Profound. Oreki-san nodded at the other party. Then I searched for 2 words on the search bar of the library displayed on the computer. Fingerprint. Fingerprints. The silver-haired girl seemed to be chatting. Then he seemed a little curious. Someone before you also conducted the same search just now, the girl with long silver hair said. But she searched for clothes and fingerprints. Because I care about it very much, I specially remembered it, the girl with long silver hair said. Oreki-san. And they will specifically search for this kind of thing, or fingerprints on clothes and the like. So, this person must be Kushida. I asked a friend to come over to borrow books, but she hasn't come back yet, so I came here myself. It's said that he has short blonde hair, is quite cute, and has an angelic smile, Oreki-san described it. Yeah, the silver-haired girl nodded. It's Kushida-san. It seems she knows Kushida. And Oreki stared at the search history displayed on the computer. Clothing. Fingerprint. Words between. It seems that Kushida-kun has also reacted. You should understand how unreliable it is to leave fingerprints on her clothes or her fingerprints. Of course, it may be that I have been wearing the same uniform all the time and my mentality is a little numb. And now, since she also noticed this, it was just right. No need to spend more time communicating. The fourth floor of the library. The library has a total of 5 floors, and students usually only stay on the second or third floor when studying. And Kushida Kikyo went up to the 4th floor. There are 19 fingerprint-related books retrieved from the free computers in the lobby on the 1st floor. And now, J4568. She was looking for the copied book number. Then, Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 105. Found it? Her left hand was raised, and the book was on the top shelf. She is a cute type of girl. And I'm not too tall, so I can't reach the book even if I stand on tiptoes. It seems a little difficult. But this time, the book number J4568 was moved. No, it was held by someone. Then the person seemed to hand the book directly to her. Ah, thank you. Kushida-san immediately showed a cute smile. However, when he turned around, he froze. Because he was not an ordinary tall boy who appeared in front of her. On the contrary, this boy's appearance was quite outstanding. He has short, slightly fluffy black hair and dark green, clear pupils. It seems that we have the same idea, the boy with outstanding appearance said. Now, can we talk in another place? When you were retrieving fingerprints just now, someone saw you. After all, retrieving fingerprints makes people care a lot. I came here through her introduction, Oreki-san said. Kushida. Little Kushida instantly felt that he had made a mistake. Then, they changed venues. The location is a dormitory. It's just a girls' dormitory. The dormitories for first-year students are all on the same floor, while the dormitories for Oreki and the other boys are on the 1st to 3rd floors. For girls, this is floors 4-7. Kushida-san is in 606. It should be said that this number is quite good and makes people feel very lucky. But for Kushida-san this is not a good thing. After coming out of the library, the two separated, and then reunited here after 10 minutes. Oreki-san took a look at the layout of Kushida's room. The structure of the dormitory was the same as his, but the girls seemed to have decorated the room more. For example, I would put up wallpaper that I like, and then decorate the room to look like, ah, this is like a girl's dormitory. Kushida's room got some cute decorations. For example, there is a brown bear on her bed. And he also noticed that there were several pairs of girls' slippers used by guests at the entrance. In other words, Kushida-san actually invited other girls in the dormitory. He is a very good and adaptable person in communication. But it would be nice if such a lovely person didn't stare at people with an indifferent and cold look. Then let's show it off, Oreki-san said. If you look for books on fingerprints, you should have realized that leaving fingerprints on clothes is very unreliable. One can only detect fingerprints on smooth surfaces. At the same time, the gaps between the fibers woven into school uniforms are even close to the gaps between fingerprints. So, Kushida-san, I'm here to inform you that it's impossible to leave fingerprints on your hands, Oreki-san said. Then how do you want to deal with it, Kushida-san said in the black Kushida state. Or what are your requirements? It seemed that after being exposed, he gave up on the plan of laying fingerprints and wanted to make another compromise. But don't think about anything too extreme, Oreki-san said. Don't even think about recording something negative about me. Then Oreki-san opened the address book and opened Kushida's phone number. Soon, the first thing that appeared was a beep indicating that the recording was interrupted due to an incoming call. This proves that Kushida just tried recording. In other words, if you feel that your fingerprints are cold, what should you do to remedy them? It seemed that as the days passed, her wisdom became a little more stable. So, you came to me specifically. What unreasonable request do you want to make? Kushida Kikyo said in a colder tone. It seems you understand quite well, Oreki said. Actually, I'm not an excessive person. Oh, Kushida listened first. I just want to press the fingerprint again, Oreki-san said honestly. How can it be? Kushida said immediately. I was already ashamed before and I won't do it again. In fact, this can be regarded as protecting yourself. Let Oreki not put forward more extreme conditions. But you made me understand my weakness. I'm not good at dealing with girls, Oreki-san said. Profound. So you have to use her to adapt to girls. A good-looking boy would actually say such shameless words with a 37-degree mouth. And it was her who made him understand, so it was her fault. But it can't be done. No, I don't want it, Kushida immediately refused. Although there was a risk, Kushida felt that even if there were no restrictions on each other, Oreki Houtarou would probably not tell them. Because Kushida didn't see disgust in his eyes, which meant that he didn't actually hate her current true state. Realizing this made Kushida feel very strange. Then you should always live in the mood that your true identity may be exposed, Oreki-san said without mercy. You have to know that your search for fingerprints just now has attracted the attention of others. Then she follows you or pays attention to you out of curiosity. So then it won't be me, but many people who will care about you. Suddenly being entangled in so many troubles, you can't release the pressure in your heart. So, the probability of being discovered by kicking the lever again is as high as 70%, Oreki analyzed. Kushida. Day. So I should have waited until Shiina-san finished using the computer before searching. As a result, it has now become his own trouble. And that's true. She wants to be everyone's friend and have good memories. But if everyone discovers his true appearance, I'm afraid he will have to. Kushida then closed his eyes. He seemed to have accepted his fate. And Oreki made a request. 7 times a week, okay. Judging from the situation of pressing a fingerprint and then having dreams and random thoughts for 4 consecutive nights, he didn't think that one time could improve his girl's resistance. There are 7 days in a week, and he can accept 10-20 minutes to adapt every day. But impossible, Kushida immediately refused. If he pressed his fingerprints every day, he would be ashamed to death. Once a week at most, she said. Profound. Once a week. In fact, Oreki thought about 7 times a week, and depending on his own efficiency, the week might be over. And once a week, Kushida-san hasn't added a deadline yet, so it seems that it can give more preparation time. Okay, Oreki-san agreed. So. Oreki-san seemed a little embarrassed. And this look was a sign that Kushida knew the moment he saw him that he was not good at getting along with girls. So, the two of them sat down next to Kushida-san's bed. But then Kushida-san put one hand on his chest. Oreki-san, do you want to know my past? About the reason why I've always wanted to get in touch with Horikita Suzune. Kushida suddenly lifted his black Kushida state and became pitiful again. But I don't want to, Oreki-san quickly refused. It would be very troublesome if I knew. I just want you to improve my weaknesses, instead of helping you deal with troublesome things or getting entangled in your troublesome things. Kushida. In other words, Nima, do you just want to touch your body and not care about your heart at all? Unfortunately, she felt a lot of pressure inside and kicked the railing to be sealed. However, if she wrote a diary, some friends would come to her dormitory. Although you can buy a small cabinet with a lock to lock the diary. But after all, it is a genuine text, so there is a risk of being discovered. So this kind of thing is still not a good plan. But when asked to give up her current lifestyle, she refused. So, with such a price to pay, she thought she might be able to take advantage of Houtarou Oreki. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 106. So occasionally you can find this guy who knows her true side to express some of your inner feelings, and then reduce the pressure. In this way, I barely got something back. Result. He was instantly rejected by the other party without any hesitation. He also regarded her as a troublesome existence. So, with Kushida-san's indifferent eyes as if looking at a scumbag, Oreki-san left her dormitory 10 minutes later. Chapter 067. The Kojima exam begins. Sakayanagi is not here, but Sakayanagi is everywhere. Oreki-san came out of Kushida's room. This is the girls' dormitory corridor. If you don't pay attention, you will be discovered. Both Kushida and Oreki wanted to avoid it. But Kushida-san was also prepared. She went out to check first and found that the elevator was on the first floor and there was no one in the corridor of the dormitory, so she asked Oreki to walk out of her room. After all, in her dormitory, all girls' slippers are prepared. It shows that it is very common for girls to hang out with each other. If it were a boy, it would be different. Moreover, although there are no explicit rules in the school, it is easy for boys to come to the girls' dormitory to cause all kinds of colored speculations. Especially Kushida, who doesn't want to fall in love, let alone get involved in such troublesome things. But if this is the case, you also need to confirm whether you need to find a new location to hold it once a week. For example, use points to reapply to the school for a dormitory that no one knows about. Oreki thought in his mind. Then walk towards the safety stairs. Kushida's room is room 606, and if you take the elevator down, you may meet girls on the 5th floor. Then you will be asked why you went upstairs. Are you looking for someone specifically? Thinking of what he would do, Oreki decided to walk down the stairs quickly. However, boom! At the corner of the stairs, Oreki stopped. The people going upstairs also stopped. Oreki. Other side. This is a quite tall girl, who always has a straight face, but has long purple hair, with very long bangs and 3 hairpins. Her legs are slender, but she seems to resist wearing white stockings or black stockings. And this is Maesumi Kamuro. Oreki Houtarou. Maesumi Kamuro stopped and looked at him with a strange look. And Oreki can almost confirm that Kamuro-san seems to be speculating on why he, a boy, appears here. And Kamuro remembered that he was asked by Sakayanagi Yuzu a few days ago to keep an eye on Oreki Houtarou and the representatives of Class B approaching him. Itchy Nose is on the 5th floor, Oreki said. And this is 6 floors up. Oh, Kamuro nodded. Then get ready to continue upstairs. But what does this have to do with Itchy Nose? Itchy Nose is on the 5th floor. This is the 6th floor. By the way, Isn't Sakayanagi Yuzu in room 605? So Oreki Houtarou came to see Sakayanagi Arisu, so why did he bother to talk to her about itchy nose? You must know that Sakayanagi told her a long time ago that she no longer needs to continue to stare at Oreki Houtarou. Wait a moment. Seeing that Oreki seemed to be preparing to continue going down the stairs, Kamuro quickly turned around and called out to him. How? Oreki looked at her. Kamuro-san has good physical fitness and is good at sports, which is why she was placed in Class A with extra points. Do you have time recently? Kamuro asked. About this month's exam. Profound. Oreki understood. Kamuro-san must have had an idea for this. So the two of them walked down the stairs together. But why did you take the stairs to come up? The elevator is not broken. Oreki was a little curious. Kamuro-san was slightly out of breath as he went upstairs. Her athletic talent and physical fitness are not bad, so she probably ran up the stairs directly from the first floor. I was punished by Sakayanagi Yuzuo as if he had stepped on a minefield. Kamuro-san's tone became dull. With a straight face, he said, I played chess with her and lost, so she asked me to go up and down the stairs 3 times. Oh. Play games. Then how does she check? Oreki continued to ask. Huh? Check, what check? Kamuro looked at him strangely. Profound. It's almost confirmed. Sakayanagi-san did not supervise Kamuro-san who had lost the chess game as he went up and down the stairs, but Kamuro-san was very used to it. Don't even think about laziness or anything like that. In other words, Kamuro-san doesn't even need supervision anymore. Just give the order. From this perspective, isn't Kamuro-san well trained? Makes you want to use it? You must know that before, he thought it would be troublesome to help Kamuro-san with tutoring, but then Sakayanagi became unwell, so he transferred Kamuro-san to Sakayanagi Arisu. So now that Kamuro-san has been trained, it makes him want to start again. After all, unlike Sakayanagi-san, he is someone who can look back on the past. If I'm not wrong, then Sakayanagi will give you a certain amount of points every month, Oreki-san said. It was originally supposed to be a question, but he directly used an affirmative tone. On the 5th of every month, Kamuro said firmly, she will give me 200,000 points. The time is also confirmed, 1700 hours in the afternoon. That's it? In this way, Sakayanagi-san is a person who keeps his word. When he and Oreki were talking about the sponsor senpai's support for Oreki, if it were her, she would do it at a certain time. Let the person being fostered feel that they are being fostered. And isn't Kamuro-san already dealt with in this way? Moment. Kamuro felt that Oreki-san was looking at her with a look that didn't look like someone. Thinking that Kamuro-san probably wanted to talk to him about something, Oreki took Kamuro-san to the shopping street. He went to the library after school, and then stayed in Kushida-san's room for about half an hour. But today I gained new knowledge, and I don't want to cook too much. So prepare to go to the shopping street where everything is available. At the same time, celebrate that you are on the way to eliminating a weakness. No one is perfect, but Oreki also wants to improve himself. So, what is the reason why you want to find me? Oreki ordered a meal for himself and then asked Kamuro, but Kamuro said that he had already eaten, so he just sat across from him. Then I didn't ask for any drinks or food. Otherwise it would be like a date. She couldn't stand this. About this exam, Kamuro noticed that Oreki had actually taken the initiative to enter the topic, so he immediately said. From the information I gathered, the score is over 600 points. It is said that last year's second grade Class B where Nagamoya was in was here to score points and then jump to the top. As she said this, her expression became serious. The current evaluation scores of the 4 first grade classes are as follows. Class A 1330 points. Class B 670 points. Class C 490 points. Class D 80 points. Class A is far ahead in terms of scores. However, if suddenly there is an exam with a score exceeding 600 points, then everything is really possible. Whether you are Class B or Class C, it is possible to move up. Then what Kamuro-san is worried about right now is, I have confirmed again and again that Sakayanagi will not be able to take the exam this time. Then she will make everyone in the Sakayanagi faction obey Katsuragi's command, Kamuro Maesumi said. And if Class B gets a lot of class evaluation scores in this exam then Class A's position is in jeopardy, right? In other words, I hope he can contribute here. And this also means that Kamuro Maesumi does not think Katsuragi-san is enough to maintain the advantage of Class A Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 107. I even felt that I would lose a lot of points in this exam. Katsuragi-kun must be too underestimated. Oreki still has some opinions about Katsuragi, otherwise he wouldn't regard Katsuragi-kun as a unit of measurement for the class representative. Even if Katsuragi-san is incompetent, he will not let the class exceed 600 points all of a sudden. As a student of Class A, Oreki feels that no matter what the current class evaluation score is, he can catch up. Because this is the rule of this school. Both he and Sakayanagi knew it. The real core is not an ordinary class confrontation at all, but to become the student council president. If you fall behind too much, you can directly become the student president and use the privileges of the student president to increase the score of each special exam. Or become the student council president, and as long as your class has the upper hand, you will continue to adjust the score of each special test until you graduate. So, even if the current score fluctuates by 1,000 or 2,000 points, it doesn't matter. I can chase him back. However, for the students in the class, as long as they fall into the lower class, they will feel a huge blow. So even Kamuro-kun feels the need to take some measures to protect him. So I came to find him. Oreki. Suddenly, I felt that the position of Class A was like poison. Because I was in Class A from the beginning, I will have a kind of confidence and be affirmed. But your confidence and certainty are being chased by a bunch of people who want to drive you down. Once you fall down midway, your morale will be greatly reduced. Therefore, in order to prevent this situation, we need to constantly maintain a leading position. But it's a long process. Very energy consuming. That's why he wanted to push Sakayanagi out to top the tank. You don't have to worry about this, Oreki said. I'm taking the exam too. I won't let Class B or C get up this time. Kamuro nodded. There seemed to be some relief. Just when Oreki was about to use the excuse of taking the exam to regain Kamuro-san's right to use it, he suddenly noticed a tall woman wearing a white shirt and a women's suit passing by the window of the store. She walked in a hurry. It seemed that he had encountered some trouble, and he almost tripped twice while stepping on high heels. And this woman is very beautiful, with black straight hair tied into a single ponytail. At the same time, she was wearing black stockings and high heels. And similar to Kamuro-kun, they both like hairpins. If Kamuro-san added 3 hairpins, then the other party added 6. And this person is considered an acquaintance. This is Sae Chibashira, the homeroom teacher of Class D. Oreki-san also completed the other party's mission, but when she was finally preparing to carry out the final blow, she shut herself down. Then the mission was completed. Belongs to the type that loses before it can do anything. But after Horikita-san's plan to take Class D to Class B was completely defeated, didn't this Chibashira-sensei become autistic? So why are you still so excited now? Oreki then looked to the other side. Opposite him sat Kamuro Maesumi. Kamuro-kun, Oreki ordered. You've already had dinner, right? Yes. Then let's do some after-dinner activities, Oreki said. Go follow Sae Chibashira and check her whereabouts. I'm a little concerned about her actions. Report the information obtained to me in real time. So is Oreki-san ordering her? This made Kamuro Meisumi's eyes widen. And why did he use Sakayanagi Arasu's tone? This is annoying, okay. So Meisumi Kamuro, who felt disgusted, stood up with a straight face. However, she pretended to look at her phone, and when Sae Chibashira left in a hurry, she quickly followed him. Watching Kamuro-san's retreating figure, Oreki kept his original plan. Let's celebrate first. I finally started to improve my weakness of not being good at dealing with girls. But it also requires some introspection. I feel excited when I press fingerprints on Kushida-san. But who is Kushida-san? Although he is a little angel, he is actually an extraordinary person. Knowing her true identity, ordinary people would be quite afraid of her. As a result, whether it was her in her little angel state or Kuro Kushida state, Oreki found that he seemed to feel okay. So, are you actually the type that any girl can do? So isn't he super easy to capture? Suddenly I felt that I had discovered a more troublesome weakness. This makes the rice taste less delicious. Kamuro-san, who was assigned, fulfilled his mission and quickly sent a message to Oreki. She followed Sae Chibashira to the chairman's office. About 10 minutes passed, and then Sae Chibashira returned. But the state seemed to be one of relief. However, Kamuro-san also gave another message. The person who came out of the chairman's office was not just Chibashira-sensei, but also a man who was serious in speech and seemed to be in a position of high authority. The man seemed quite angry, but under the attentive guidance of the principal, he headed towards the school gate. The principal even used honorifics. Call him Mr. Ayanokaji or something like that. Kamuro-san did not continue to follow because he was worried about being discovered. It's just that this level of return is already awesome. Because Kamuro, you are a student, but the principal is paying respects to Mr. Ayanokaji. As a result, you dared to follow for a while. Kamuro-san does an excellent job of being treated as a tool. However, this also made Oreki think. Mr. Ayanokaji. Chibashira-sensei is from Class D, and Kushida mentioned before that there are some unique people in Class D. One of the students has Ayanokaji as his surname. And if you look through your memory, you will find that it was Ayanokaji Kiyotaka. According to Kushida's evaluation, Ayanokaji Kiyotaka seems to lack some common sense. If you lack some common sense, you may be a homebody and have no contact with the outside world at all. Or, it may be that there is no way to contact the outside world due to other unique reasons. Considering that Chibashira wanted to trick Horikita into taking Class D to fly to Class B, Oreki speculated that Chibashira also had an ace in his hand. So it's Shiro Hor's Horikita. As for Horikita Suzune, who is the younger sister of the student council president, Chibashira should not be considered a trump card. Then the ace in Chibashira's hand is very cool, or his identity is very unique. And now, Mr. Ayanokaji entered a school that ordinary parents cannot enter. It shows that his status is very high. If Ayanokaji Kiyotaka is related to Mr. Ayanokaji, then there is a high probability that he is the trump card among Chibashira's assistants. But Mr. Ayanokaji entered the school and had no choice but to leave. And left angrily. It means it didn't meet your expectations. The principal looked attentive, but the chairman did not follow. So the chairman probably stopped the other party's illegal operation. So this kind of person, can Chairman Sakayanagi handle this kind of thing? The big shots have not achieved their goals, and the probability of giving up directly is too small. Yes. If something happens to Chairman Sakayanagi, will Yuzo Sakayanagi still be in the school? Thinking about it this way. Room 605. Yuzo Sakayanagi was playing chess alone. Kamuro-kun has no talent, so he loses like a rattle. However, due to her poor health, her leisure time at home consisted of reading and playing chess. So there is no pressure for her to play chess alone. Only. She looked at her phone. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 108. She received a message. Would the school principal kneel down and lick your father directly? This is really baffling information. But she confirmed the sender again. Oreki Houtarou. It's Oreki-san. Didi Sakayanagi Yuzu was about to make a call directly. However, I found that Oreki-san's message came again. Kamuro-san followed Mr. Chibashira and found a high-ranking man named Mr. Ayanokaji walking out of the chairman's office angrily. The atmosphere is not very good. At the same time, the principal was kneeling and licking Mr. Ayanokaji. For it. Sakayanagi Yuzu understood. Oreki-san is talking about the principal kneeling down and licking Mr. Ayanokaji like that. If the principal's attitude towards his father is not as good as Mr. Ayanokaji's, then it means that Mr. Ayanokaji's status is very high. Then Mr. Ayanokaji walked out of the chairman's office angrily. In other words, is father in trouble? Think about it. Sakayanagi Arisu decided to go to the chairman's office. My father knows it himself and is very tolerant. But it's also quite tough in some ways. For example, in this exam, he said in a tone that could not be refused that she would never leave school. Considering the problem with Sakayanagi Arisu's father, Oreki-san did not go back to the dormitory directly as usual and then left his phone in the dormitory. Then he used teleportation to go home directly. So he stayed in school. I stared at the dormitory with almost no modifications. At 9 o'clock in the evening, I finally received a message from Sakayanagi-san. The matter is settled, I owe you a favor. Oreki-san, you are truly my lucky star, carrot. Oh. Ignoring Sakayanagi-san's last sentence, Oreki confirmed that this was a condition for obtaining Sakayanagi Arisu. This white silk Lolita is full of offensive power. At the same time quite sharp. She noticed it as soon as the blame was passed to her. It is difficult for her to lead the class honestly. Now I don't know if this favor is valuable enough for her to lead the class. So Oreki-san yawned and put his phone in the dormitory. Use teleportation, go home. Yes. And the next day. Good morning, Oreki-san. Sitting in his seat, Oreki saw Sakayanagi Yuzu again. Sakayanagi-san greeted him as usual. There was nothing strange about her face. Then let's consider it a thing of the past. Oreki-san thought to himself. Then. It can be seen that Katsuragi-san, a classmate in the same class, frowned. It seems that not only Kamuro-san, but Katsuragi-san also learned through his own channels that the score of this month's special examination was very high. So for a steady player like him, it's simply torture. Alexander. It's just that no matter how stressed Katsuragi-san is, the school's special exam is coming. According to the school's custom, the rules of the monthly special examination will be announced on the first of every month. But this month has been dragging on. On June 12th, the school finally issued another notification. It was decided that as a reward to the students, a 14-day school trip on a luxury ship would be held for 2 full weeks. The use of the ship is free of charge. Naturally, meals will be provided for free. So, this is quite a reward. However, who would believe that this thing is a reward? Charter a passenger ship specially for them to spend 14 days? What a great benefactor the school is. Even for first-year students, this is a place worth looking forward to. Because the same school trip announcement was made to 4 classes. Yes, you can use the facilities for free. Ship, you can take care of the food on the ship, right? And here in Class D. After the homeroom teacher Chibashira-sensei informed him, there was an explosion immediately below. Class D's class evaluation score in the first month was 0, and in the second month, well, because Horikita Susan bought points, it became 80 points. But for most students in Class D, there is just no money. Although I discovered that the school also provides some free daily necessities to students without points, it turned out to be too difficult. Especially the mountain vegetable set meal. This is a free meal provided by the cafeteria, but it tastes terrible and is cold. No salt added. They had to buy salt from the convenience store and take it with them every time, and then other students would look at them with a joking look. It seems like he is looking at a loser. It makes people uncomfortable. And what makes them jealous is why that guy from JUNG still has some points. JUNG was actually eating a meal worth 2,000 points. And there are senior students who order extra meals for him for free. And Class C is here. A 14-day school trip. After being informed by the digital teacher on the homeroom board, Long Yuan took the initiative. He stood over the podium. Young kids, this is our chance to move up in Class C. Everyone must cooperate with me. If someone fails to cooperate and causes these hundreds of points to continue to be lost, then this person will be expelled from the next exit exam. Said Ryuan Sho, who had obtained the information in advance. The specific content of the exam cannot be obtained from the seniors. This is the bottom line. But what can be confirmed is that previous seniors also boarded luxury liner in their third month of school. Then there was an exam with a very high score value. Just like last year, Class B, where Nagai Yunya belonged, gained an advantage in this exam. So this is an opportunity. The score is very high, so you can look forward to it. He is the one who wins. Pull B off first, then A. Oreki Houtarou, old and new hatreds come together. The tyrant of Class C is full of confidence. As for Class D, let's wait until they have accumulated 500 class evaluation points. Then there is Class B. A school trip. For 14 days. And it's a luxury liner. Do you always feel like you're being treated too well? The school is too luxurious. The classmates in Class B are real little angels. Because it was informed by the homeroom teacher Hashinomi Yachie that she would go on a 14-day school trip. Therefore, the students have no doubt that Hashinomi Yachie may not be telling the truth. In other words, they won't consider that the teacher can actually lie to others. This is really a rare quality. After Hashinomi Yachie finished her announcement, she looked at Ichino-san. Hanamai Ichinos. When he was informed of the 14-day super luxurious school trip, Ichino seemed to frown. Already started to think about it? And Ichino's information flashed in Hashinomi Yachie's mind. Ichino's academic ability is very high. In the written examination results for admission, I got the first score, and I was also highly rated in terms of judgment and intelligence. If she hadn't been absent for a relatively long time in junior high school, then she would have been assigned to Class A. So this is a seed player from Class A students. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 109. Hashinomi Yachie believes that Ichino-san has the same commanding ability as Katsuragi-kun, the representative of Class A. And Ichino-san, what will you do this time? Hashinomi Yachie is looking forward to it. It's actually quite depressing. Because my best friend Sae Chibashira has been very autistic recently. But when I asked her, she didn't say anything at all. I thought Class D was acting badly before, but now it seems to be acting even worse. So, it's even worse. No matter what Xiao Sae is thinking, it's still better, that she will never be able to climb up. For example, the class evaluation score is reset to 0 again. In this way, Although she was smiling like a big sister, Class B's homeroom teacher Hashinomi Yachie was thinking about dangerous things. In this way, all members were notified by their respective teachers to gather at the school gate at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then took the bus to the luxury liner Hedgehog Cat. This study trip requires all students to participate. Only. The total number of first-year freshmen is 40 x 4 equal 160. One person is left behind. That was when most of the students got into the car, and then a super cute girl with straight silver hair stood under the car. She is not in good health and needs a cane when moving. Looks weak and helpless, but super cute. Sakayanagi Yuzu stood under the bus carrying students from Class A. She showed a look that seemed a little regretful. I was banned from all activities because of my health. So I can't move with everyone this time. And Katsuragi-kun Sakayanagi Yuzu looked at one of the tall representatives of Class A, Katsuragi-san of the Katsuragi faction. Can I entrust the class to you? As a student of Class A, I naturally lead the class. Katsuragi responded immediately. But it's actually a little unstable. Some of Sakayanaga's ideas are quite extreme and completely inconsistent with his tendency to seek stability. And the current Katsuragi faction has 17 members and the Sakayanagi faction has 23 members. Unknowingly, the members of his Katsuragi faction were completely disintegrated. It shows that Sakayanagi Arisu is very offensive. So even though she said this, would her members of the Sakayanagi faction really obey his orders? Thinking about this, he noticed that Sakayanaga's eyes seemed to fall on the young man who was already sitting in the front row of the bus by the window. He was holding his chin with one hand and seemed to be a little sleepy. And that was Oreki-san. Profound. With Oreki-san here, the Sakayanagi faction should not mess around. Katsuragi nodded. You should take more rest in school, Katsuragi said politely. In fact, I do care. Sakayanagi has a weak look, somewhat similar to his younger sister. His family background is not good, and he and his sister are dependent on each other, and the sister is also a little one, and she seems to be in poor health. Now he can't go out in such a closed environment. Although he consulted the student council president and got it, he can use the points to send out some gifts, such as gifts for his sister's birthday. But it requires a lot of points. And he is still the representative of the Katsuragi faction. In order to maintain the class, he cannot waste points. So it's quite hard to bear. But it was different just now. Because we are outside the school gate now, but some students have already discovered that the mobile phones issued by the school seem to be able to connect to outside networks. Then it is possible to communicate with the outside world by phone, right? So, you can use your mobile phone to contact your sister. Rest. Maybe I can't do it. Sakayanagi Yuzu rejected Katsuragi-kun's statement, because in school, I also have my own challenges. Is it a challenge? And Sakayanagi Arisu's body is so weak. Suddenly it occurred to me that Kamuro Maesumi was the one who always supported Sakayanagi Arisu. But Kamuro-kun is fine, so he has to go with him to take the exam. Then, Sakayanagi-san is the only one left. So, is Sakayanagi talking about the challenge of living alone? It is really inconvenient for Sakayanagi Yuzu to not have Kamuro Maesumi. Katsuragi thought in his mind. Then after getting on the bus, I paid attention to Kamuro-san. Kamuro-san? Even if Oreki looked at her strangely before, why did Katsuragi have the same expression now? And also gathered at the school gate. Got on the school bus. Kushida-san is sitting in the front row. On the left is Wangmiu with twin ponytails. Have you been reading detective novels lately, Kushida-chan? Her best friend Wangmiu asked curiously. Because Kushida is now holding his mobile phone and searching. Keywords: fingerprints. Fingerprints are the lines formed by the concave and convex skin on the ends of human fingers. Appearingly, Fingerprints can increase the friction when the hand touches objects, actually. Kushida. Kushida just found out that he could access the internet and searched for it. There was no way she could do whatever Oreki-san said. She has been hummed by him twice a week. The first time was okay, leaving her clothes alone, but now she actually wishes to see it. This is not pleasant. She already understood that Oreki Houtarou really regarded her as a tool to get to know girls. So it will be gradual. But isn't it just like falling in love? She doesn't want it. So she searches and saves herself. Result. Fingerprints cannot stay on clothes. Everyone. It seems that you can surf the internet and make calls on your mobile phone, Kushida quickly said with a cute expression. And this sentence exploded. Can I contact my family now? Then I want to write a book. SHH, don't say this kind of thing in a place like this dash. The students suddenly became lively. And the other side. The school student union. The first year students left the school all of a sudden, which made people feel a little lonely all of a sudden. Akane Tachibana, the secretary, said. It reminds us of a time when we were in the same situation. The student council members here are all sophomores and juniors. Although there is some information that cannot be told to freshmen, even if they spend points. But the special examination in the third month of admission is unique. Then it is also an exam that can quickly score points. Most of the people present benefited. The class of Nagayunya, who was demoted to accountant, scored 300 points in this exam last year and received more than 5 million points. It can be said to be a big harvest. The class where Horikita studied was a bit more aggressive, scoring 400 points directly in this exam. So, this year's class is excellent. I'm looking forward to their development as the student council president. Horikita Manabu put down his pen and then joined the members' discussion. Yes. Nanyun seemed to smile. But that's not what I think in my heart. He was thinking cursedly. He was stripped of his status as vice president, and now he can only be reduced to an accountant, while that guy Kiriyama can still maintain his status as vice president. This was not a comfortable situation for Nagamo. But now. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 110. Hurry up and go to the island and endure hardships to save points, Oreki Houtarou. Because this time the exam is not as wonderful as letting people take a boat ride and enjoy the beautiful scenery. You have to endure hardship. Then. The sea feels like summer all year round, the luxurious passenger ships, the constant sound of whistles, the vast sky, and the refreshing sea breeze. This is vacation. Although some students think this is a special exam this month. But no one denies that this is a vacation. Because the school really rented a luxury liner for them. The luxury liner Hedgehog Cat not only has many comfortable rooms, sumptuous restaurants, elegant theaters, swimming pools, and various entertainment facilities, but also a high-end massage spa. Calculated in terms of points, the points required to charter this cruise ship for 2 weeks are estimated to be 10 million points in terms of hundreds of thousands of points per day. The so-called 10 million can be used as money casually in Academy City, and the money used to settle the settlement with the owner of the ship is of course real money. Therefore, the school is extremely rich. It's just that the students of Class D who can be seen on the deck won't think about it, they will just cheer. Because the accommodation is for 3 people, but the decoration in the room is like a small hotel, and the food is free, swimsuits are free, theater is free, massage is free, and drinks are free. Everything is free. For Class D students who have run out of points, this place is simply a paradise. Now that dim sum is available in a luxurious set menu, who wants to go back to school and eat a mountain and vegetable set meal? Everyone they knew well ran to the deck, put their hands on the railing, and looked at the real sea below, with tears in their eyes. It's great that you didn't get kicked out of school. Suyodu, Haruki Yamauchi, who had become friends with Suyodu, patted Suyodu on the shoulder and exclaimed. Yes. Suyodu's eyes filled with tears, it really feels like a dream. As Chibashira-sensei said, everything here is free, free, and free. There is no need to worry about living expenses, which makes them feel like they are finally living like human beings again. The school is so generous. It actually allowed us to take a vacation on such a luxurious liner. Yeah. The girls also looked excited. In fact, they were probably excited because they were provided with various swimsuits or clothes for free, all of which could be used or rented. In other words, no money, no money. This is already immersed in vacation. Go on vacation. As for Oreki Houtarou, he also started taking a vacation. Actually, he didn't. After boarding the boat, the teacher began to assign rooms. 3 people per room. But he paid 100,000 points and applied for a separate room from Mr. Majima. Then he started to carry out the superpower physical transformation that he had obtained and then never used. After obtaining this ability, he never used it because it took a long time. And now it's time to use it. The teacher of the school informed that it was a school trip, but it must be for exams. According to the school's long-standing practice, it is likely that the students will be allowed to take a vacation for a few days. And this can be used by him in a few days. Are you starting to transform your body with superpowers? Yes. Required time, 2 days and 2 nights. During the process, the host will enter a dream and remain in deep sleep. It's a rather subtle feeling. But it's also nice to be able to transform it in your dreams. So it's okay to add a little more seasoning, right? Turn on precognitive dreams. Yes. On his 1.8-meter wide bed, Oreki Houtarou's consciousness quickly fell into it. Then, the world of dreams opened to him. In this dream, he noticed that he saw a super cute silver-haired girl wearing a black beret. But she was not wearing a student uniform, but her own private clothes. It looks so cute. Sakayanagi Arisu. Sakayanagi-san. Didn't she come to join the island? Wrong. Now in a dream. And it's a precognitive dream, so is it the future? So Oreki continued to watch from a god's perspective, and it seemed that he was not at home in the dream. But the children and wife are at home. The 3 of them were in the yard, and the wife was reading the newspaper. The 2 children were playing with toys that seemed to be given by Aunt Kushida. Mother. There was an expensive-looking car parked outside. The driver is very fierce. He doesn't smile at all and has a straight face. He is a purple-haired big sister who seems to get angry easily. By the way, she put several hairpins on her bangs. 2 children were playing in the yard when they found a car parked at the door. The driver got out and asked if this was Oreki-san's home. And these 2 children, Oreki had dreamed about before, were Horikita Suzun's 2 5-year-old daughters. Rings and sounds. As for the mother, it would be lawyer Horikita. I seem to have some impression of your description. He is a classmate from school named Kamuro Maesumi. Lawyer Horikita, who was called Mother, put down the newspaper she was reading and came over. And standing outside the yard was a tall girl wearing a female driver's suit. You will appear here, could it be that Lawyer Horikita frowned? Because everyone who graduated from a Kyosei high school knows that Kamuro-san was Sakayanagi Arisu's crutch in school, and after graduation, he became Sakayanagi Arisu's dog. Are you looking for me? However, a rather cute voice sounded. Then the car door was opened by Kamuro-kun, and a very cute white-haired girl came out. She is not tall, seems to be in poor health, and needs to hold a cane in her hand. There's something sparkling about it in the mild sunlight. 10 years have passed. Sakayanagi Arisu seemed to have not changed much. Natural beauty. Sakayanagi. After all, they are students in the same period, so they can definitely recognize them. You haven't changed at all, lawyer Horikita said. Well, after all, I won't be able to grow taller after I enter high school. Sakayanagi Yuzu showed a cute expression. Then come in and sit down. 10 years later, lawyer Horikita seemed to understand some people's hearts. Otherwise, what are you doing at my house? Who to look for? Oh, XX is not here, then go back. I think so too, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. But I didn't come alone. Alice. She called out a new name. However, the car door on the other side was pushed open from the inside, and a little girl with long blonde hair walked out of the car. She is not very tall, a little younger than Sakayanagi Yuzu, probably about 10 years old. However, in terms of facial features, he looks like a smaller version of Yuzu Sakayanagi. And this is my daughter, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. Alice. However, the girl called Alice suddenly took a step forward and hugged Horikita Suzune. This is Horikita's mom, different from what mom said, it's not scary at all. Hello. What horrible things are you saying? Lawyer Horikita seemed to be very resistant to these two sentences. My children only have Lingling and Yunyin, and they cannot have anything to do with you. Besides, Sakayanagi, is this how you introduce me in front of your children? Lawyer Horikita seemed a little angry. Well, after all, Horikita-san was very stubborn in the beginning. He always had a straight face, making people feel like Kamuro-san. Yuzu Sakayanagi held the cane and said, "This is my daughter, her full name is Alice Sakayanagi. Because my husband ran away, I had to use my last name." Sakayanagi Yuzu said with a smile. "Forward. Say this with a smile. In other words, Sakayanagi-san's life is not good." Horikita-san invited Sakayanagi and Alice to drink tea together in the courtyard. "But that husband of yours?" Attorney Horikita is a lawyer, so he can help with matters such as prosecution and prosecution. "That's a sad story," Sakayanagi Yuzu said. "But I don't hate him. I still like him very much. And, of course, Alice has inherited her father's excellent genes very well." "Did you inherit your father's genes?" Horikita Suzune was thinking about what Alice had inherited.